Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of PowerBook 2 Ghost, Season 3, Episode 5, called No More Second Chances. Okay, but before we get started with the review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it, and we thank you in advance. So this was a pretty good episode, wouldn't you think?
This was one of the best episodes of the season so far, I think. They've done a great job of leading up to this one, and they did a good job making the episode.
Yeah. The last two episodes are have been my favorite, and I like where it's going. Okay, so in this episode, we first see Jenny, the DA, in Monet's home, questioning her about the murder of Whitman that occurred in her house. And we also see the DEA, Blanca Rodriguez, questioning Diana. That's just weird to me. She's the DEA. That's drugs. Why are you here? It had nothing to do with drugs, I don't think. Other than, I guess
It was just a homicide, right?
I thought so. I don't know why the DEA was called. Okay. Who said the witness file was stolen?
Monet told Davis that she still had that file.
Oh, and he said that file was stolen?
I believe so. And they didn't have a record of it, and it's because Monet had it.
I don't know. That's what's going on with there. Okay. They had their classroom issue, their lesson, which was about second chances, and they had a good discussion about that, how they have to take away other people's chances to have a second chance or a chance at life. And they had, an example was people in prison are supposed to get a second chance, but they're just isolated or out when they come back into society, all this and that. That was the discussion in the classroom. And Tate was in the classroom because, he was a love interest of the teacher in the past. What timing. And of course, light-skinned Keisha is in there, his intern, and she totally interrupts him when he's talking.
She's very good at that, and she's very good at getting everyone riled up. It's one of her strong personality traits.
So we have RSG. He is in a conference with Tariq, Lucas, Braden, Kiki, and they're going to go to Italy. There's some type of tech deal that needs to be done in Italy, and RSG wants Tariq to go. At first, Lucas is like, oh, he's one of our young interns, inexperienced, but
RSJ says, well, why do you have this young African American in this meeting with me? He's the only one who can speak Italian in Italy, so why would he not be able to come?
Yeah.
And why would you go? You can't speak Italian.
So he's going to go off to Italy, and he's also invited his girlfriend, and they got to okay for Effie to go because she's some engineer major and she could be helpful. Mm-hmm. That's all appealing to RSJ. I call him RSG, huh? RSJ. And so the plan is for them to go to the meeting in Italy.
Correct.
Tariq is telling Monet, he gets a message that IG didn't kill Zeke because he was in the DR. And Monet, she always trusts Tariq more than her other kids. So that gets her to thinking, because she had seen that file last episode that Lorenzo's fingerprints were at the scene of Zeke's murder. So I'm sure her wheels are spinning around. Monet goes back to Kane, because that's how she knew who killed Zeke, and she killed Zeke's murder, or so she thought. And so she's asking Kane, who told you that IG killed Zeke? He's all Pops.
He's not wrong.
He wasn't wrong. That's what he doesn't know what she's up to. So,
you ain't lying about that.
Yeah. So I'm sure she's thinking about that. So RSJ and Tariq and the gang, they're at the tarmac. Gonna get on the private plane. And we see, that's when I didn't know Braden was going to be at the meeting too until I saw him at the tarmac. That wasn't explained why he had to
Yeah,
go.
RSJ. I'm pretty sure he said he's taking the interns.
He said he's taking the answer. Because the only thing he mentioned Tariq by name. So Kiki is also there. Lucas isn't there. He didn't.
Yeah, he said everyone except Lucas.
Yeah,
We don't need you to
Lucas.
go.
He didn't want him to go. He wanted all the kids to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he made that very clear in the first meeting in the
Yeah,
episode.
which everyone is black except Braden.
Yeah.
Interesting. At this very, very high level
Italian
partner, potential
Mm-hmm.
partnership. And so they get there, but on the way to the tarmac, Braden drops his phone and Kiki picks it up.
Correct.
And some texts come through.
About all cap or no cap, all frat.
Oh, that was what was coming through. So she looks, I don't know if she understands what she's looking
She
at.
doesn't. She just knows something's
Okay.
direct
Okay.
deposits and stuff.
Ah, okay. Braden, you are very, what's the word? You're not very,
For someone who just confessed to being this huge drug dealer and all this stuff, he's very sloppy.
sloppy. I was thinking of the word sloppy. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the next thing we have DEA Blanca, DA Jenny, and Sachs. They're meeting and having a drink in the office because they know that Whitman he knows something.
Mm-hmm.
There was something there, and they know Monet's line, or so Jenny believes. So the next scene we have.
Real quick, just like you're saying how Jenny believes all this stuff about Monet, so did what's his face?
Who?
This Whitman guy.
Yeah.
About the suicide of the Carrie Milgram and stuff, and
Yeah.
he was all on Monet and the Tejadas, and now look at him.
And they kicked him out because they kicked Whitman out of the investigation because he was being sloppy, hanging out with Monet and all that. That was the reason.
He kept pressuring them, breaking her rearview mirrors and stuff. And he did too much, and now look at him.
Yeah,
and now this Jenny's about to do too much. So she's probably next on the list.
So they're questioning who's supplying Tejadas, Tariq with the drugs. Mm-hmm. And they think Davis knows who's doing it. Okay.
And he does.
So we got the bar with Lorenzo and Kane, and they're drinking, and Kane tells his dad, Lorenzo, Mom knows something. She knows that IG was in the DR at the time of Zeke's murder, so he couldn't have done it. And Kane is trying to convince Lorenzo to tell his dad, or have his dad tell the mom that he's the killer. How would that ever go off well? It will never go off well. And he knows he'll never be forgiven for that. So the next thing we have Dre and Castillo in bed. And they get he gets a text, the Castillo boy. I don't even know his name that much. He gets a text about the CI that they were in the gunfight with, that he is in the hospital and he's alive. And we find out that that's the guy he was in jail with. That's how they made the connection. So that's why, and I guess because he's the CI, and he must have maybe talked in jail about life on the streets. So that's why he's being pursued about the guns or whatever drugs to get something on them. Mm. And then we have Monet goes to the restaurant that Frank's wife owns, or the family owns. And she's telling Frank's wife, who's a widow, that I know who killed your son. I feel really bad. I know this pain, this hurt. I'm feeling about Zeke. I know you must have been feeling that about your husband, Frank. So I have something to tell you. Lorenzo put a hit out on your husband. That's how he died. And so Monet's, what she's trying to do, since she believes that Lorenzo killed her son, that she's going to tell Frank's people, the Castillos, how their family member died, that they would retaliate and kill Lorenzo, and this lady, Frank's widow. She's like, oh, I don't want to jeopardize my boys. It's not worth it. I love my boys more than I loved Frank, and I don't want to see them in trouble. So Monet thought she was going to get a hit out on her husband by dropping this information, and the lady pretty much says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. So we see we're in Milan, Italy, and that's where the tech conference that they're having with this company that they're trying to do business with. And I guess they did some research that this company is going to need some U.S. patents that RSJ can alleviate the problem. And because if they don't get the patents, this is not their product, their company. It's not going to be as worth as much as they think it is. And this man can do away with their problems. So it looks like they make a good deal with these people. And then the next scene we see Dre and the Castile boy. They go to the hospital to kill the CI. They're just going to kill him in the hospital because he knows something. Too much. And so they're looking around there. And meanwhile, we have Effie and Tariq in Italy on their very first date, technically. And Tariq's talking about, dreams of not being in the game and living a good, normal life. And then who shows up at their first date in Italy?
Noma and the assassin.
Mm-hmm. She has an assignment for them. Now that they're in Italy, it'll be perfect. She wants them to go to Francesca, or is it Francesco? Lombardi's house. There's a listening device that Mecca was supposed to get. And they want these kids to go in there and get it. Now, this guy is having this, he's a very private person, a rich person. The guest list is so hard to get on to be in there. And they want those kids to go in there and get this listening device. And if they don't, same terms. You don't do it, your loved ones will be killed. I mean, what kind of pressure to have on people constantly to do all these crimes? You already had the deal about the drugs and the deal about the guns. Now the listening device that you got to put yourself on the line, your life on the line to do. And this is not the life. I don't know how they think that these kids can do just the impossible. Meanwhile, when we're back at the hospital and the boys see all the FBI agents at the hospital, but they find out that the CI died. And there's something about someone's talking about the receipt of his phone.
And all the information that's probably on there and how it should be retrieved.
Mm-hmm. So they give a wad of cash to the girl who handles the belongings at the hospital. They get the phone, and on the phone, they find pictures of the incident where Braden was with the guns, the hotel, all this. So they are outside with the phone. They destroy it. The phone, I guess the little, is that the card inside? The memory. Mm-hmm. And right after they do that, that's when we see Blanca trying to go get the phone just moments after they got it.
Too slow. Need some hustle.
And the receptionist girl, oh, the family took it. And she's like, because that was her case. All that evidence was her case. So Tariq has convinced, I don't know how this happens, but Tariq convinces RSJ to go to this party. There's a special list, and Tariq is going to be a guest at the party with Effie, apparently Braden. Was Kiki there at the party too?
Actually, no, I don't think Kiki was at the party. It's
just those
Braden, Effie, Tariq, and RSJ.
Yeah. Okay. So they're mingling around the party, this exclusive, highly exclusive party. So we have Effie snooping around with Braden to look for this listening device. And then, I don't know, Effie leaves the room, but Braden's still there. and he's under a table. He couldn't get the listening device when someone comes to the door, and it was the security guy. And he snatched Braden up. Meanwhile, Effie was in another room, and she starts snooping around. She gets the device, she puts it in her purse, and then somebody comes in. I guess another security, somebody of the house, and he's like, "What are you doing in here? Nobody should be in here. These are private quarters." She goes, "Oh, I just heard that this guy, Francisco, has this uh, very
Very high end art gallery.
yeah." And she's looking to see the art. So he takes her to another area where the art is. So it doesn't look suspicious. She's not caught up with the security. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's looking at the art collection.
Very quick thinking by Effie too, breaking down all of what just happened with that braid and that bug very quickly.
Yeah.
And then reacting to the guy stumbling in.
Mm-hmm. She was on her toes.
Literally.
We have a quick scene. We're at the Tejada house, and they're having dinner or whatnot. And Lorenzo takes Diana into the kitchen and tells her basically she's out of the drug game. Cool for Diana, because she never wanted to be in it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how she was able to sell those drugs so swiftly. What setup did she have to do that? But anyway,
probably using that all cap no frap just at the college as well.
But I don't know if Tariq and them know she's selling it. I don't even think her brothers know she was selling it.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so we have Effie and Tariq. They're in their hotel room in Italy. And then Kiki knocks at their hotel door, and she's looking for Braden. And
super late o'clock.
Really? And Effie,
she's a coworker visiting hours.
Yeah, she said he'll be back during appropriate coworker visiting hours. It was like, so is there some problem between Effie and Kiki?
I don't think it's that. I think Effie's just on to Kiki and Braden.
Well, if they have something going, let them have something going. Mm-hmm. But she was like totally kind of nasty about that. He'll see you during appropriate coworker hours. He's like, what? You're just going to say, no, he's not here right now. We don't know where he is. Maybe he's at the party. So the Castile boy that's seeing Dre, he goes to the Monet house, and Monet's sitting on the steps outside, and he's apologizing for not going to Zeke's funeral. And he mentioned something about, I guess talking about his father. I guess he said something like, he would kill anyone who was linked to his father's death, or whoever killed his father.
He'd slit their throat.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking Monet's putting the seed out there, plan B, that she's trying to tell. I don't know how. Seems like she's trying to, I guess, test the waters and how this boy feels about killing his father's killer.
Also, I don't think his mom's gonna be too thrilled about Monet telling him going behind her back, getting her son to
right
do that task.
Okay, so now we're at Davis's office, and Sachs comes into Davis's office, and he has found a constitutional loophole in the Theo Rollins case, which is Davis's brother. And so, of course, Davis is excited about it. He wants to take Sachs to the prison to tell the brother the good news, right? And Sachs is all, oh no, why don't you go tell him? That's you go be the hero. You go by yourself and tell him. So Davis is on his way. Sachs circles back into Davis's office to snoop through his desk. And he comes up, he gets the lock, he unlocks the desk, and he finds this file sitting on top of everything. And he opens it up, and he sees that this file was the Dante Spears, or the Zeke murder file, right? No, it was a Zeke murder file. And I guess, I don't know how he can tell, they all look the same, but this file is a file that Davis shouldn't have.
I think it's a file that him or Jenny were looking for some reason, and they were saying that it was missing or something.
Maybe
And
it's
then he
still
just
some.
sees it randomly in Davis's
Yeah.
desk.
So he takes a picture of it. And did he send it to Jenny, or he was going to tell
He
Jenny?
told Jenny.
He told Jenny.
Yeah.
What
He
did he?
sent a text that he found that file in Davis's
He
desk.
did do that.
Locked.
Okay, so he texts that to Jenny.
Yeah.
Um. So what happened with Braden is when he got caught by security, he was taken to like a dungeon, stripped down to his underwear, and beaten by the goons. And Francisco Lombardi comes down there. He wants to know who Braden is connected to. He's done his research on him. I guess he knows about his past with the drugs and all that. And he wants to know if he's tied to Mecca. He mentions Mecca, right?
Not when Braden is getting beat down. He just questions him and says, "Who do you work for?" And Braden doesn't say anything.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, man.
And he was just saying, "I just came for the party. I'm a Weston.
Yeah,
Do your research." And he said what he did.
He said what he did. Okay. So, they're in Italy, and I they go to some like dump area, some landfill looking area, and Tariq and Effie are there, and these cars are driving up, and one of the cars Braden is in. Braden comes out of the car. They make an exchange, and they put a gun. Braden comes over to where Effie and Tariq are.
Then Tariq says, "You good, B." Then Tariq's about to hand the listening device over.
Yes.
As he's exchanging it, this guy grabs Tariq's wrist, puts his gun on his face, and asks him who he's working for. And then Tariq just doesn't say anything. He's thinking about it, waiting for something to happen. All of a sudden, you see the assassin and Noma and two snipers start going crazy, letting their fingers go, and everyone's dead.
Yeah. So Noma was behind it. She loves the fact that they have gotten them to this landfill or whatever this place is and killed all these people. I guess she took pleasure in doing the killing. And then you see those guys, the snipers. What do you call those people?
At this location, there was a high ground area and then like a little pit, and an exchange was happening in the pit. And after the first couple gunshots go, and you see Noma and her right hand assassin, you also see two snipers with ghillie suits at the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tariq and Effie and Braden saw Noma give her hand signal. And they look at who's receiving the signal, and then they see the snipers.
So Tariq had called Noma about their predicament, right? Correct. About Braden being caught up with those people.
And then Noma took it upon herself to eliminate this guy and his crew.
And she's happy with the work that they did.
Correct.
That she says the trial period that she had them on, selling the drugs or killing the people, or they'll kill the people, selling the guns or you'll get the people killed, get the listening device or you'll get your family members killed, is over. So that they're still in business with her.
For the long run.
For the long run.
And, yeah. So what's next?
And she's very happy. And these kids are 19. They're 3 19-year-olds. And
doing billion-dollar business deals.
Yeah.
In Italy.
Business deals by night, murder and
drug deal and
God.
Kidnapped.
So the next thing we have Jenny. She's out on the street walking, and Sax sees her and he calls her, and he sees that she looks at the phone and puts him on, leave a message. So something's up with that. However, with the next scene we have, I think it was Effie talking to Tariq, letting him know that when she was looking at the private collection, she saw a portrait of Francisco and Noma and a little girl. So they have a child together. I just wondered if that's really, uh, I wonder if that's really his daughter, that it belongs to Francisco. Because, little backstory.
Real quick, in that picture, it's not that clear. Did Effie say that that picture was Noma, the dude and the kid, or who was
Yeah,
in the picture?
that's
Oh,
Noma, Francisco Lombardi, and a little girl. So we assume that's Noma's child with him. But backstory, I remember last season when Courtney Kemp, one of the writers of the show, had an IG live, and I asked her a question. How many kids does Mecca have? And she says one that you know of. She said something like that. And I just remember her now watching this and seeing this. Is that possibly Mecca's child? I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see.
real quick, just to touch on that.
Uh huh.
If that were Mecca's kid, why would there be a picture of Noma, this kid, and this guy?
Because Noma could have made Francisco believe it was his child.
Oh.
Because you know she had dealings with Mecca. In fact, she said it was her fiance.
She said Mecca was her fiance and this dude was her ex. So it's a weird.
Is it her
scenario.
ex-husband or her
She
ex-boyfriend?
didn't clarify.
Yeah. It's just very. Something's going to go on with that picture. That's all I know.
End of the season's looking good.
Yes. Okay. So we have Lorenzo and Monet. Oh, this is a good scene. We have Lorenzo and Monet. And Monet's mad because she's, mad that all the cops were in her house doing this deep dive investigation about Whitman when it was self-defense. But then when it was her son's murder,
he's a gang member.
Yeah, he's a gang member. Chop it up as that, and investigation over. So she is very pissed about that. Lorenzo takes this opportunity to come clean to Monet very tearfully and explain to her that he accidentally killed Zeke when he thought he was killing Mecca because he thought Mecca was destroying his family. Oh. And so what does Monet do to him? Slaps him hard.
Throws stuff at him. Says horrible things.
And then he tells her, you're at fault too. You didn't prepare Zeke for this life. That's why he was in the position that, I guess he didn't have, his eyes and ears open because he knows nothing about that. She hated him. She wanted him out of the house. And out of respect for her children, she wasn't going to kill him herself.
She said, I won't put a bullet in you.
I won't put a bullet, yeah, because of her children. But she wants him to get out of her house. And she's going to tell everybody that they're separated. So she says. Oh, he came clean, but it didn't serve him well. So as we told you, Saxe saw Jenny, and she put him on red when he saw her on the streets. So he decides to follow her. He follows her to this house. It's guarded house, and he's asked to get in the house. Of course, the guy's not going to let you in. You don't have any ID, and you think this man's going to let you in? What's the purpose of him being here? So I guess there's maybe some commotion, and Jenny comes out of the house. She's like, what are you doing here? Can't she have private business that doesn't concern you? You don't even work for your private sector. She's in the DA's office. There's a lot of things she's going to be doing that you're not going to be privy of, and you shouldn't be expected to. But he is, he wants to know what's going on. Who's at this house? Why is it guarded? Are you using me like you used Lauren? And then we see Lauren at the door. She overhears that. And she steps out, shocking to Saxe to see a dead person walking out of the house. Like, what's a ghost? What are you doing? And so she's questioning Jenny. Is that true? Are you using me? I told you who tried to hurt me. It was Effie. It wasn't Tariq. And Saxe seems to back her. Yeah, it wasn't Tariq, he says. I know he loves you. I know he had nothing to do with it. And it's blowing up her case, Jenny's case. And so he tells Lauren, he screams to her, you know what? They can't keep you here against your will. So she knows she's free to walk if she wants to. Okay, so back at Monet's house, it's Spades night. Spades is a big deal, apparently. But Lorenzo is not there. He's supposed to be there to play with them and teach Diana how to play spades. So the next scene, we have Lauren. I guess she sent a text to Tariq, or Tariq gets a text in the middle of in the night. He's in bed with Effie. They're back at home in their college campus after all that after all that Italy stuff. So he gets a text that night, and I didn't see who it was coming from.
No contact, random number.
But why would he respond?
That's a good point.
You know, you got to watch your back. Could be anybody. Everybody's out to get you. You don't come out in the night and meet up with somebody. But he does go, and it is Lauren that he meets up with. And, of course, he's shocked. You should be dead. How did you get here? Where have you been? And Lauren tells him, Effie tried to kill me. And Braden gave me to Effie for me to be killed. And so she tells him the feds are trying to build a case against you. And a lot of people are trying to hurt you. So Tariq is thinking, Braden and Effie lied to me? He feels betrayed. Because you are. And so he goes back into the dorm room at night. He gets back into bed with Effie. But he's acting like everything's cool. He's not mad at her. He's just going to act like, everything's okay. So it doesn't raise a red flag. And Effie again tries to tell him something. She's been trying to tell him something for a couple episodes now, and something gets in the way. And we don't see her say anything. So it doesn't look like she told him again that, She didn't. But she wants to.
I think it's too late now. That Tariq has already seen Lauren. It would have had to have been done before he would have known that she's alive.
And also, she's going to have to find out that this order really came from Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Kane told Braden to do it. Braden has always proven that he's weak at that. So Effie took it upon herself to do it.
When really, everyone was looking out for everyone. But now everyone's going to be mad at each other because nothing really actually got done.
So there's going to be some infighting in this little gang, in this cap, no frap.
All cap, no frap or something. Or no cap, all frap.
Yeah. All right, so the next thing we see, Lorenzo stumbling out drunk on the streets, and he notices that he has a flat tire on his car. So he goes into the trunk to get the spare to change the tire, and as he's bent down, somebody comes up from behind him and slits his throat.
It was one of the Castillo boys.
It was Dre's boyfriend. And he tells him, it's payback for what he did. And he tells him, bleed, bitch. And we find out when Lorenzo's slowly dying on the streets of New York that it's right in front of the bar, right in front of the banner that he put up about Zeke. That's where it is. So
he technically made his bed, right?
Right there. Whoa. So we're back at the Monet house, and there's still spades night, and that's where Monet gets a text that says, done. Thank you. And that was the end of the episode. Getting real juicy.
Great episode.
Okay, well, that's it for now. We'll be back next week with the next episode. So please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it, and we thank you in advance. But we got to go because
we got some living to do.
Bye.